Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining United Standish. Cannot wait to speak to you all tonight. Feeling good for a change after the recent result last night, after the performance. So I've got my good friend just waiting in the background. Let's get the show started. Speak to you soon.
Welcome back to Mufc Realist TV. My name is Bella. I am a presenter and hostess of this channel. Thank you for tuning in. The show is about to begin. I want you to give this video a cheeky little like and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. As you must agree that I am better looking than Mark Goldbridge.
Bloody
so
hell.
What are you waiting for? Just do it. Smash that like button now. Let's go Reds. Buckle up. Get ready to rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
Good evening, Jarvis. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Good evening, Reds. Good evening, Phil. Good evening to the VAR room. Good to be on. Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Phil?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, thanks, mate. Especially after last night's performance. For a change, we're coming onto the show feeling positive, feeling excited. I don't think we've conquered the world overnight, and some people are saying it's only Chelsea, but you can only beat the team that's in front of you. So, there's a VAR room starting to build up quite quickly, so that's good. We'll keep our eye on that, and we'll say hello to everybody once you all start giving your shout outs. We'll shout you out, guys. So say hi, give us a quick shout out where you're from, in case anybody's new and doesn't know where you're from. We'll give you a quick shout out. So
Fantastic.
So
it's good to be on, and we won, as you mentioned yesterday, and it's not every game we win, so let's just enjoy it while we can. We never know what's around next corner. We're playing who is we playing? Brighton?
Bournemouth next.
Bournemouth next on Old Trafford. But let's try to build on this. Try to build some momentum. That's what I'm hoping.
Absolutely, mate. The performance is the thing that I'm most impressed about. Not just the result. Obviously, the result was fantastic, but the actual performance is something that was just like it was something that's been missing for a long time, isn't it? And it's just like to see the players come out the way they did after the Newcastle game, which has had so much spoken about it. Yeah. They had no choice, let's be honest, to come out playing the way they did. You knew that everybody had to be fighting for the shirt, fighting for the club, and showing that there is something that they believe in. And it just felt like that from the very start. There wasn't one player who you were watching the game thinking, he's not up for it. He's not up for it. Everybody was fighting, and it was great to see because it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's true. It felt like that. I just want to say to everybody now, if you could do me a favor, I will post a link to the Twitter. If you can go and push that link and retweet and like it, so we can share it and have more viewers, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the like, and if you haven't, subscribe. So that will be also super great for me and Phil and Mick and everybody on board on the Mufc Realist TV team. So. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm just going to do a few quick shout outs to those who are in the VAR room. Got Lucifer and Morningstar. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Mark Davis. What a good win for United last night. I thought they played well without Rashford. What do you both think? At the end of the day, we've just touched upon it already. We didn't mention specific names at this point. We know that we'll talk throughout the show on specifics. I think it was right that Rashford was dropped. And if what's being said in the media is true about him being trouble behind the scenes or spilling news and causing animosity amongst the players and breaking private information from within the club. If it's true, then I'm surprised he's in the squad at all, to be honest. But yeah, I think he had about maybe 12 minutes towards the end of the game. Well, we had 4 minutes extra time. He had about 14 minutes in total, something like that. So I feel like, do you ever get that feeling, Jarvis, that you're being watched? that like when you're on your driving test, and you just know that you're a little bit nervous and think people might be watching you and just checking what you're doing. I feel like that at the moment. I feel like there's somebody watching us. Oh, there he is. He is watching us. He is watching us, sneaking up on us. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. The boss is here. The boss is in the building, everybody. Good evening. How are you doing? How are you doing? Mate. What?
Sign language.
Oh, it's very sleepy. Tired. Can't speak. Wife in bed. Mustn't shout. Mustn't get excited. Yeah. Okay. What time is it there? Oh, 4 words. 4 words. Time. 2 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 2, 3. This is my 3 o'clock. 3:20.
4 o'clock.
3:20. 3:21.
4 o'clock in the morning, and it ended up with the middle finger. Good evening, gents.
4 a.m.
I just cover in.
Good morning.
I'm not supposed to be here. Just got to let you know that Uncle Jimmy is on his way. Uncle Jimmy is on his way, and currently, people are watching the Spurs game. I believe Spurs was up the last time I checked with 1-0 against West Ham.
Yeah.
So it might be a watch along here as well, guys. I don't know. Do you want to know the latest result at the moment? I can bring it to you.
Currently,
yes. Currently, Tottenham is up with 1-0, and Everton is up with 1-0 against Newcastle.
Have they gone 1-0 up now?
Yes, just now. 85 minutes, people.
Fantastic.
85 minutes. Yeah. So we need West Ham
as well. Dwight McNeil in the 79th minute.
Yep. We need West Ham also to do us a little bit of a
We
favor.
do need West Ham, but it'd be nice for Newcastle just to stay below us.
How you doing, Phil? I haven't seen you for ages. How you doing? You're looking dapper.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. And look, my stream is a bit better. I've got reams and reams of cable wrapped around the house. It's connected to the neighbour's internet, so we should be all right tonight.
He's gone to the neighbour's Wi-Fi router.
So we shall see how the internet works. And Jarvis has told me to turn my background off, which actually had a bit of a delay before we started as well. So we shall see how this continues. But so far, so good. So far, so good. So are you obviously not getting rid of you, but are you sticking around? Are you off now?
Just a little bit. I was up working anyway. I was planning to go to sleep. It's been brutal couple of days, especially when you are 7 hours ahead of the epicenter, where the action happens. Like, the other day, what a brilliant performance. The game kicked off 3:15 morning time for me, though. But what an epic game. And I think we spoke a lot about it in the morning show today with Sal Warner from Stretford Post and everything else. And, at the end of the day, it looks like Ten Hag has full control, according to my opinion now.
Yeah.
He's sort of nipped the media in the bud, kind of like, banned certain elements to even being present, and rightfully so. And I think he's kind of like, putting this togetherness and kind of outing out the players that don't want to really fight for him or don't have that attitude. And wow, what a performance actually on Saturday, was it, right? I thought it was great from minute 1 to 95. But of course, you always have that little bit of a PTSD, like, the defensive error, like, but at the end of the day, we could have won the game with 4-1.
On Saturday, do you mean on Wednesday?
Oh, well,
It's Thursday today.
Yeah. See, look,
you need to go to sleep. Everybody say good night to Mick. Good night, Mick.
Yeah, but I'm good otherwise.
I've known people to lose a day, but not 4.
Yeah, I mean, it was all doom and gloom, like, when we lost against Newcastle. But at the end of the day, like, you look what City did, like, and what Villa is doing at the moment is a madness, like creeping out from nowhere, like, sitting on 3rd spot at the moment. City's crumbling a little bit, we're 3 points behind.
Roll back to the our first show of the season.
Yeah.
And somebody, if you can find it, said that Aston Villa would be up there.
You said?
Here I am.
Good evening. Yes. And what did I say about City? What did I say about City?
You said they may struggle at times.
I didn't think.
I can't remember the exact.
I didn't think that. I said they're going complacent, and basically they got fed and happy. They won the treble. They won the Champions League, and I don't think this season they're going to be up there, like, challenging. So it's got to be a surprise season. I said in the first beginning that this Premier League season is going to be a lot of surprises. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule out Manchester United as of yet, because look,
No.
Amad Diallo is coming back, Leach is coming back. Ten Hag hasn't really had the opportunity to play his strongest 11 as of yet. So we've been just scraping by. And what it is matters is, football is a result business at the end of the day. It's getting those 3 points. I get that we haven't played good football, but we're starting to see that, right?
I think when you roll back, you go back like sort of 6 to 8 months, something like that, and most people were screaming, "Get rid of Maguire, get rid of McTominay, he's greedy. Oh, I can't believe he wants to stay, and he's just staying for the money." I'm just glad that what we have been asking for all season is someone who wants to fight for the shirt. And if that is not an example of somebody wanting to fight for the shirt, you tell me what is. Because for him to turn his career around the way he has, to deal with the media the way he has, to just come out and just start fighting for his position. I know Leach has been out, and that probably helped, but he's took Varane out the picture. It was like Rolls Royce Varane, who was this world class signing who we've signed. He's took Lindelof out, who was Mr. Iceman. And he's took that right centre back position, and that's it. Ten Hag's seen right centre back suits him much better than left centre back. And suddenly, no one else is playing for it. Getting play with a month. That is just, that he must just be sitting there saying, not like, look at me, because he's not like that anymore. I think the problem was last season he was saying comments like, "Well, I've done nothing wrong," and it was like, "Well,
yeah, but you got to have thick skin. You got to have thick skin and big ego to back yourself, like you're a professional footballer,
Yeah.
And he obviously doesn't read media. It doesn't really affect him at the end of the day, because he backed himself. He worked hard to get back into the squad. Other than I saw this interview with Nemanja Matic the other day as well that came out. That was actually recorded 2 weeks ago. But he was just speaking as a professional footballer, and he mentioned there was 2 players that never sort of applied themselves, and unfortunately, that's your boy Jadon Sancho, and there was Paul Pogba as well.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
There was instantly he said we have to go and look for them to find them to get them to training and stuff like that, and that kind of gives you an indication, when you're getting paid big money to play football, you're playing for the biggest club in the world. Of course, you got to get complacent, and at the end of the day, what happens is that you've been given a 5-year contract, and they're not going to get rid of you because you're an asset, right? So, what are you going to do? You got to see the manager out the door and start over again. New manager bounce starts, you improve yourself, you apply application on training, but then you do gash on the pitch. I think what he did, an example against Rashford, he actually took that in consideration, but he didn't really punish him because he threw him in the 86th minute, to be honest. Not to totally destroy him.
Yeah,
but
we were saying that just before you came on, just talking about him coming on at the end.
But I guess it gives you also an indication, you're not getting into the right, you're not getting into the left, basically because people are actually fighting for places and they're much, much better than you. So, Rasmus Højlund was running ragged at the end of the day, so they took him off and put him in the middle. But rest assured that is his spot, and then second spot to that is probably Anthony Martial. So my advice is, listen to what the manager has to say, and train harder than last time. Fight for the team. Because now I see this is more of a team. Ten Hag style is more of a team effort than individual brilliance. And Marcus Rashford has been the individual brilliance, the individual star carrying the team for years. But it's a different dawn, and it's going to be interesting to see the remaining of the season. Right, we have very difficult games going forward from now. Yeah, I mean Anfield. Wow. 100%.
I think leading up to Anfield, we need to see obviously how the Bournemouth game goes first. That's the first one. Gaz Taylor praised the manager and played for the win, but they need to carry this effort for the rest of the season. Absolutely, Gaz. Absolutely, cannot agree more. And it's one win. It's just one win, but it's one win that's going to carry us. And speaking of somebody who's going to be carrying us, welcome to the stage, Uncle Jimmy. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm all right, guys. How are you? But I'll tell you what, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right today. I'm all right.
Feeling good at the moment, yeah.
I feel good. I feel good. I'm all right. I can't lie. I'm all right.
Okay,
All right.
now Jimmy's
How are
here.
you guys?
Now I can go. Now that Jimmy's here, I am excused, right? Am I? Oh, am
Yes,
I?
if you wish to go, it is
Thanks
4 o'clock in the morning.
Thanks
So
for holding the fort. Thanks for holding the fort. Thanks
No,
for
I
holding
just
the
want to
fort.
hear from Jimmy. How you doing, my friend? It's been a hot minute. You all right?
Yeah,
You all
no,
right?
man. You know what? I'm good. I'm good. I feel good. You know, I'm an observer of football. I'm not like you know, I like to enjoy my football, and when my team plays a game like that, I enjoy it. People have said, "No, Chelsea were rubbish." I said, "Well, Chelsea might have been rubbish, but we were good." Two things can be true at the same time. So I'm happy. I like to watch my team play like that. I like to watch
The thing is,
them just
Jimmy, like the
go
pundits,
out,
even
express
yeah.
yourselves. That performance was not a tactic. That wasn't a tactical performance. That was just a good, solid individual performance that came together and it worked. That's football sometimes, you know.
But it was also tactical, like
Yeah.
I think it was
Of
tactical
course
as
it
well.
was.
I
Of
mean,
course.
the way Ten Hag recognized the mistake, he was quite pissed off that we kind of let that fizzling goal in from Colin Park and coming in. So he did a tactical straight away, took off Lindelof, put in Serge Reguilon, and that was a game changer, right? So, and at the end of the day, like,
that
people
would have made a big difference.
yeah, and people were writing us off, saying, "Oh, Chelsea's going to batter you. They're going to beat you." Even at 1-1, like the pundit said, like still, the Bet365 was still high odds on Chelsea to win the game, right? So, I think
Yeah.
from that point on, I think the second half was brilliant. Like, I think that when Serge Reguilon came on, he, the fullbacks bombing forward, enabled the wingers, but Amrabat, oh my God,
He
that
was
shirt.
stretching the game a lot more than I even knew that he could. You know, he's capable of stretching the game almost like a winger. You know, he was very, very good actually, very, very good. I was quite impressed. Quite impressed.
West Ham.
He knew what he was doing.
Get in there.
has West Ham scored?
Get in there. Yes.
And he
Spurs
scored.
West Ham 1-1.
Oh, nice,
Fantastic.
nice.
Thank you for the update. Well
That's
done.
beautiful.
Anyway,
That's
2-0 to Everton. 2-0 to Everton.
Get in there.
Oh,
The
what?
Corby's just scored.
Is shaping fine?
Oh, it's all going on tonight.
No, Everton. Do you know what? Roy Keane called this Everton result. You know, he said he can't see Newcastle beating Everton. I wouldn't have said that. I would have never called this game. I would have never called that.
What I did say about the Everton
Bloody hell,
game,
man.
I mean,
Jesus.
I think it's
Premier League
difficult
is
with
heating up.
Newcastle. When you think of what Newcastle, Newcastle got beat the other week by Bournemouth 2-0.
Yeah.
And so I think they underestimate teams at times. They get up for a game, they get really up for it. I know they've got a depleted squad at the moment and they've not got the same goalkeeper and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you've got to play with the team that you've got. We've had this for most of the season with injuries. We've still got it now. We've still not got our best squad available. And Everton have got something to fight for. And if that the manager doesn't need to say to any one of his players, he doesn't need to big them up for any game. They're ready for everything because they're fighting for pride. They're fighting for the club. They're fighting for everything. So any game against them is tough. And that's why our result should not be understated because it was such a good result, that 3-0. I know Garnacho's goal set the tone for the game and it just kind of rocked everybody. But that aside, Everton have been on the up. They've been playing a bit better recently, and they don't deserve to be in the bottom three. And after this, they ain't going to be in the bottom three. So well done, Everton.
Guys, just wanted to come in to say good day, pay my respects. You were
No, I think so. And also, you know what? If you think
about okay,
I just want to pay my respect.
I just want to pay my respect. Yeah, I just want to pay my respect. Big up to all of you that are coming in here. Smash the like, please. You will see me in the morning show, 100%. But I just want to say that I think I have a good feeling that we are in for a surprise for the second half of the season. We haven't seen anything yet. We're 14 games in. It's too early to judge. I mean, I just have a good feeling. I have a feeling.
Everton 3. Everton 3-0.
Here we go. I gotta love you and leave you, gents. And
what the heck?
Good to see you.
Beto's just scored in the 97th minute.
Wow.
Bang.
Oh my God! I would have never called this. See, this is how I know that I could never be a football coach. I would have never called this. Good night.
Yeah,
No, that's I'm shocked. I'm shocked, very shocked.
I don't think we should be. I mean, as I say, you know, I think with Newcastle they were really up for it again. See, when they played us, they beat us, and then the next game they weren't the same team, and they lost the next game. This is like the other week, not just recently, and then they lost their next game. And we were back above them in the league. So all that hype about, oh, we're above you in the league, and all this, it was gone. It was gone a few days later. And right now, the below us in the league again. So all that shouting and screaming and whatever else, it's a whole season.
I think this season, anyone is stupid to try and shout about being above someone in the league because we're all going to keep interchanging. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough. We're all going to interchange, I think, all across the season, because if you look at it now, I mean, what is it now? For we're 3 points from top 4, aren't we? And we're what are we? 8 points from top of the table? What is it? 3 points from top 4.
We're on 27. We're on 27 points, and Arsenal are on 36.
See what I mean? So it's like, I mean, you look at those,
which is 6
you look
points.
At those numbers, and you're thinking, not a lot in it. There isn't a lot in it.
We're 3 points behind City in 4th. It's there's so much to play for. So much to play for. Long way to go.
So
we're not even at Christmas yet. We're not even at Christmas.
I think there's so much to play for. Look at Spurs. Look at Spurs, because if you look at Spurs, they had a wobble for 3 games, haven't they? So it can happen to anyone. They had a wobble for 3 games. Now they're back in it. So it's just, I think it could happen to anyone. I think it's going to be one of those seasons that's going to be, it's going to be right to the wire. Even for top 4, I think it's going to be right to the wire.
I think you're right, Jimmy, and we are not the only team that will experience a lot of injuries this season. I think a lot of teams will have fatigue because of the World Cup last season. It was a really long season, and I think the players now with the injury time, extra injury time, because the 10 last minutes when you are in the red zone, that's when you are pushing it, and now they play 10 extra minutes every game, so. It goes out of it's muscles, it's calves, it's hamstrings, muscle injuries. We will have a lot of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's this stat? So look at this stat that Gaz has just put up. Same amount of wins as Man City. What does that mean? That's not right, is it? He's not talking about us, surely.
I think we've got more losses. We've got more losses, and they've got. Is there? Can you make the screen any bigger? Can you zoom in?
What?
On that?
So we've won the same number of games as Manchester City.
There you go.
Yeah, we have 906 in 15 games, and City have 933. So 9 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. So actually, it's not too bad compared to City.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's. Wow. Okay. But you see, it's funny, isn't it? The league table is so weird, man.
Yeah.
It's so weird. We just lost more games, haven't we? They've drawn quite a lot of games.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. There is the potential.
Oh my God!
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you could turn up at Liverpool. That's a 6-pointer right there. They don't get anything. We get 3 points. Suddenly we're 1 point. We're like a few points behind them, and it's like it's so tough at the top. So tough. But
the only thing that worries me, Phil, if you look at the table, we have lost against Arsenal, we have lost against City, we lost against Spurs, we lost against Newcastle, we lost against Brighton. So against all the other top 8 teams, we have lost. So this is what we have to do to change the trend. We have to start winning against top teams.
We do, but the other side of that coin is right now we've already played those teams now. For the first half of the season, at least. So whilst other teams are going to play each other, there's still that chance for us to kind of catch up, bridge the gap, and then hopefully be ready and turn the second half of the season around and win those games. Before we carry on, guys, let's just do a few shout outs, because we've got a few people in the chat room we've not said hello to yet. We got as far as Mark Davis, who was second. So we shall continue. Neil Driscoll, good evening. How you doing? You all right? Neil was giving us some earlier updates on the scores as well. Carlos, I hate this is good evening, Carlos. I hate to say this, I wouldn't mind Bayern winning us. We can do without the 3 games a week. Just my opinion. No, not for me. Well, I think the problem you've got at the end of the day, I was saying this to someone the other day about, I think it was about Newcastle and stuff like that. You know, at the end of the day, if they want to go on, and I don't see them going on to win it, but you've got to be in it to win it. So it's a fine line. If you think you're not going to go all the way this season, you better just to bow out, not intentionally, but do you know what I mean? You know, in line with what's being said by Carlos. Possibly, but I mean, for me, I want to be in every competition. That's what, you know.
I kind of agree.
Do you think we should be better?
I agree with Carlos, just in the sense of, because just for me, I think the European competition's meaningless. We're not gonna, you know, I don't want to, because I'm quite conscious of the confidence within the squad, like in terms of how confident they are going out playing these big Premier League matches, and I feel like staying in any European competitions, playing against completely different styles of play, because let's face it, these teams sometimes beat us because the football's just so weird that we just can't figure it out. I mean, sometimes we've lost especially in the Europa League, where I've thought we've lost because the football is just so strange. We don't even know what kind of football this is, and we end up just going all over the place. But anyway, I think for me, European football is completely meaningless for Manchester United this season, and I'm happy to just concentrate on domestic competitions. That's it. For me, that's absolutely fine for me.
As long
I think it's more productive for the team. I think it's way more productive.
I can see it from both ends. I just want to shout out Musa Abukar Kamara, first time on the show. So big up, Musa. Good to see you.
Good evening, Musa. Thank you for joining us.
But when it comes to the European Cup, the Champions League, I think as long as we're in it, we got to try our hardest to keep competing. It's not only, okay, we can't win it. I don't believe we can win it, but I think it's important to have this experience especially for a lot of the young players, learn how to play in the Champions League. And in a way, you know, it's like a carrot in the long winter. You play in the Premier League, and sometimes you get a break and you get to travel into Europe and go to Paris and go to Milano and go to Barcelona and go to Madrid to have a game, you know. And I think it's not just an extra game. It's like a vitamin injection in your vein as a footballer. If you get what I'm saying. So for me, I hope we will still be in it and try to compete as long as possible.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if we turn with a sort of mindset of like, oh, it don't matter, it doesn't matter, we're not going to win it anyway. You know, I mean, I'm a manager or a coach, if you like, of a young kids football team, and we went out in it was actually the second round last season, because we got a bye in the first round. But we went out in our first game and it was over before it began. And this season we've just played our first round game and won. And the kids are absolutely bouncing. We've not won a cup game before, you know. We've not won the final, but when not one of us is saying, "Oh, we could do without the fixture congestion. We'd rather be out of this." At the end of the day, if you're playing football, you're in it to win it, and if you're not, what's the point of playing? So I understand that the idea of resting and stuff like that, but a club the size of United, we shouldn't be talking about let's hope we're out of it and stuff like that. Not for me, at least, anyway.
The only counter I would have to that is probably just because, you know, the Premier League, unfortunately, has become so competitive. We're victims of our own brilliance, if you like, as a league, because we become victims of our own brilliance in the sense that the whole league is competitive. It's not just, it's not like the Spanish league or Italian league where you can count how many games are going to be tough. You can't do that in the Premier League. You can go to Luton on a Sunday and have the best game of your life, go back to Luton on a Wednesday, and they play you out off the park. It's just how it works in the Premier League.
Luton last night,
do you know what I mean?
Arsenal, 97th minute winner.
It's like we're victims of our own kind of competitiveness in the sense that every team competes in the Premier League. So unfortunately, that's forced this ultra competitive spirit within the league to the point where now clubs, when you're Manchester United and where you're kind of in this zone where you don't know if you're doing a project or are you trying to get results or you're trying to do project, so you're kind of flittering between the 2 points. You have to now focus somewhere where you think it's going to be the most productive. And for me, the Premier League is the most productive for us at the moment because we want to make sure we stay in the Champions League, because I think there will be a rebuild. I'm hoping that obviously the ownership situation would have been resolved. And I think that being resolved means that by the time the summer comes, we should be in a good position to play in the Champions League, because I think we'll have a better squad. So for me, I'm thinking, well, Champions League this season makes no sense. We're not going to go anywhere. And even if we, do you know what? If we played in Europe and somehow we managed to, do something productive for a little bit, it's not going to mean anything to anyone, is it? Really? Let's be serious. It's not going to mean anything. I know what you mean.
If you don't win it, then you've gained nothing, have you? I know.
Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's focusing on where it's productive.
Well, that's the whole purpose of this show. Everyone's got different opinions, and that's what makes it good. That's what makes football so interesting. Everyone's got a different point of view and a reason why. I think one thing, you think something else. But again, we understand each other's reasons and stuff, and that's exactly what it's about. That's what football's about. That's what supporting your team's about. And that's what freedom of speech, that's it. So just moving on to this comment from Carlos. Absolutely, we saw, I think you're right, the captain stuff did get into Maguire's head. You see so much on social media, that's not my captain shouldn't play like that, blah, 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 sort of thing. And I'm sure he doesn't read every comment, but I'm sure that they hear about them or see some of them and see enough of it to get inside your head and really mess with you. If someone walked into your place of work and you weren't performing well, and people started criticizing you and posting it on social media and saying how bad you were doing, and everyone was talking about it, and then the paper started printing about how badly you were performing, and you couldn't get away from it. It's going to have an impact on you. At the end of the day, people seem to forget about the human factor. And I think that sometimes there's a little bit of an impact on Bruno as well and things like that. But moving on. Who have we not said hello to yet? Who have we not said hello to? Sim, sorry, you gave us an update on the score before. I know that was earlier, but thank you very much for sharing that with us. I like this little comment that you've made. Want to see this level for every single minute, every single game, win, lose or draw. One of the things that I love most about the game last night was the final whistle, when the players just dropped. I think it was Anthony and Garnacho was seen just dropping to the floor, sort of thing. Whether that was relief or tiredness or just like yes, sort of thing. I don't know, but it was it's not just people.
It's a good sign to see. It's a good sign.
Absolutely is a good sign. It's a great sign. And Anthony knows. Again, he's seen the media. He knows he was bought for 80 million. Not his fault, as I said on social media earlier this week. It's not his fault what the price tag was. Somebody was saying, I think it was 34 million we could have had him for a few months earlier, potentially. But obviously, the way the club's run and what's happened and stuff. And he's not lived up to his price tag. But if you take that away and give him a chance to become the best he can be and adapt to the league, and I know he's had a full season. I know that. But he's also had this off the pitch issue he's been dealing with. We don't know how much that's impacted him. And at the end of the day, we mustn't take away the human factor. But last night when you saw Anthony, he always looks like he's gonna smash somebody's face in from the minute you look at him. The minute he walks, he's stood in the tunnel, he looks like he's ready to batter somebody. He never looks like he's gonna go for a little walk around the park sort of thing. He always looks up for a fight. But he looked for it in the right way last night. People have been talking about him not cutting, being obvious which way he's going to go, whether he always goes around the outside and stuff. He didn't. He started to cut inside. He's looking for passes. He's looking for 1-2s. He's running back down the wing. He's playing back across. He's keeping possession of the ball. He's not making silly mistakes. He had his goal ruled out where he hit Maguire the other day and stuff. He's looking sharp. He's got us the penalty. I know he didn't go in, but he got us the penalty. So for me, yeah, absolutely. Win, lose or draw. We want to see that every single minute. People obviously still commenting about Rashford. We did see much better play without him. Whether that's because we're playing football instead of trying to lump it over for a fast ball, I do not know. So Rebel saying today, I saw a fan channel talking down the win against Chelsea. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, like we said, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but at the same time, people will talk it down because they just think, oh, well, whatever. But on this show, we believe it was absolutely fantastic. What do you think? What was your opinion of it, Jarvis, in terms of the actual performance against Chelsea? What was your overall performance, instead, not individuals like picking out, but overall?
Yeah, well, you can look at it two ways, because there's always two teams on the pitch. So if one play badly and the other one play great, or did the Man United play and Chelsea played bad? So it depends how you want to see it. But if you go down to the tactics of Chelsea, Poch didn't do it well. They were trying to play out from the back. We were playing with a very high small margin in our press play. Sometimes we were pressing with almost like 8 to 9 people as high as their 18-yard line. So a little moment of brilliance, individual brilliance from their side, and they will be through. And we saw it a couple of times when they ran through. So it's a matter of a little bit of calculated gamble from Ten Hag. Yeah. So for me, I think Chelsea could have done better, but at the moment, I don't think they're at that level yet. They did manage to play out our high press. So yeah, but we deserve to get credit because we were brave. We had courage. So I would say I'm very happy with the tactics of United, and I think we were the best team. We didn't win just because Chelsea was bad.
I agree. I mean, I think from the very first whistle, you could see a difference in attitude, and you could almost sense it. It was almost like we put the fear of God into Chelsea, because they were like, whoa, who's this United? Where have they come from, sort of thing? Because we were dominating from the first. I think we could have been 3 or 4-0 up in the first half, and I don't think I'm exaggerating on that. Penalty aside, I think we were playing some fantastic football, some of the best football we've seen. I've got a quick question for you, Jimmy. Do you think that Onana could have done better with their goal?
Yeah, 100%. I think he could have done better. I think, but this is where I keep saying Onana is going to have to, because I don't think, because everyone's been criticizing his ability for shot stopping. Now, I don't think he's a bad shot stopper. I think the rhythm of the Premier League is something that he has not tried hard enough to get accustomed to. He needs to learn the rhythm of the Premier League, because the Premier League, as hard as it is as a league, is pretty predictable where your waves are going to come from. It's not hard to know where your waves are going to come from when you're playing. I mean, today you look at that Chelsea in this match. You look at that Chelsea team, and you can know you know exactly where the danger is going to come from. And if you just get used to how those players play, then you can start to understand the league. That's why David De Gea improved season on season, is because he was studying the rhythm of the Premier League and the rhythm of how different teams attack and different players attack, even to the point where, I mean, David De Gea has been on record talking individually about certain attackers, saying, well, I always know that he's possibly going to go that way. If he doesn't go that way, then I know he's trying to find this pass over here. So I know how I need to position myself. So it's those kind of details that Onana is going to have to do. I think he's relying too much on his ability to shot stop and read positions, rather than actually studying the Premier League and trying to improve himself against his specific opponents. Once he does that, I think he'll be all right. So yes, he's to blame for that goal, because I think he would have been in a completely different position, at least enough to take a half a step. Because if he took half a step, he was saving that.
Exactly. Yeah, he was.
You know,
yeah.
so he needs to study the Premier League. He needs to be a student of the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shout. I mean, I didn't know that about De Gea, so that's really, really interesting. Speaking of De Gea, do you think he's going to sign for Newcastle?
I think he could. I think he could. I really do. I think there's every chance. Why wouldn't you? If they offer him a contract, if you're De Gea, absolutely 100% snatch it. Because Newcastle are going to be, if they continue on this trajectory that they're on at the moment, they'll be challenging for the Premier League next season.
Yeah.
So why would you not go to that team? And also, they'll play to his strengths. Because Newcastle can adapt so well. In any match, they play different systems in every match. So they can adapt, you know, so you know that they're going to accommodate De Gea and play him to his strengths. I think they would probably be there'll be an improved team with De Gea in the team, I think.
I think it'll be sad for us to see, because it's one of those where half the fans still want to see him with the shot stopping ability. We know his distribution is not the same. And Onana, I think for me, Onana, he made one mistake last night. And, you know, at the end of the day, I always say, like I say, when I'm coaching myself to my team, if we concede a goal, the whole team conceded it, because it's gone past everybody from at some point. So somebody's let somebody down further up the pitch before it got to the attack, to the midfielders, to the defence, to the goalkeeper. It's a team. If a team conceded, the whole team conceded, sort of thing. But I think with Onana last night, he looked a lot more composed in those moments where he's in his own box. I think he looked panicked against Newcastle. I think Ten Hag said, "Look, if you're going to play like this, just stay calm. Just stay calm, because you've got this. You can do it." And I think he got rattled a little bit against Newcastle. But last night, every single time that ball came to him, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't nervous, which is weird, because you see some goalkeepers and you think, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Yeah. But he just looks in control, and that's such a good thing to have. Such a good thing. Over to you, Jarvis. This from SPK. I know that before Højlund joined us, you were a big advocate for him, and you'd watched him when he was at Atlanta, and was really hoping he would have joined us. You've seen what he can do at his best, sort of thing. We've seen it in the Champions League this season. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna? How many goals do you think he's going to finish with this season? That sort of question. Do you think he's going to sort of get one and then they'll come like buses, sort of thing, or do you think
no?
It's going to be a difficult season.
To be honest, I don't expect a lot of goals from Højlund. If he can go to 10 goals this season, I think that will be okay for his first season. He's 20 years old, or maybe, I don't know, is he 21 yet? Or
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, he's about 20, 21. Because of his role at the team.
20,
at the moment, If Ten Hag wants to use him in this role, I think he won't score that many goals. But he's so important in the way we play. I saw Yale in the comments mentioning it was the zonal marking or man marking, and in a way, I think we from the get-go, we go for man marking when the opposition play out from the back. This is what we do. But I saw something different yesterday. We were more on the front foot. So it was kind of a mix of man marking and front marking. I just want to bring out something, and I will show you this, and maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but this is what I saw. I don't know if you can see my tactical board here, but
it's just loaded up.
When they tried to play out from the back, Højlund pressed the two center backs by himself and the goalkeeper. So basically, we are man marking in every other position except for the number 9, their striker. We have 2 on their striker. So we have always one man over in defense. But what I saw yesterday was when they were trying to build up, we pressed with so many people up high.
Yeah, we did.
And the forwards were blocking out the passway to the fullbacks.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they passed, they had to pass through the air.
It was very structured pressing. Very structured.
Yeah. but they had to pass it in the air to the fullback. But it takes a little bit longer, that pass. So the our fullbacks were on the front foot, and they were directly going into them, and the wingers. So this is what I saw. We were much more efficient in our press, and we gambled, especially in second half when we had Reguilón on the left back and Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw did a much better job than Lindelof pushing up. So he pushed up Reguilón, and Luke Shaw pushed up the next. So both of them actually played really well. So this is what I see. So it's not a complete man mark, but it's basically a man mark and a solo mark, because they have an area they want to cover too, not just the man. So
how do you explain?
Do you agree, Jimmy?
How do you explain Harry Maguire playing on the right wing?
Don't mind the numbers.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that last night. I was watching it going, is that Harry? What's he doing?
That was funny.
That
was funny.
Yeah, but this is total football. This is what Ten Hag wants to do.
He did all right. He did all right. He did all right in that moment.
He did. It was good. It was good.
And another thing I saw yesterday that was really good, it was the triangles we set up on the flanks. We had Bruno, Garnacho, and Reguilón always setting up triangles and playing themselves through. And on the other side, we had Anthony, Dalot, and McTominay. Not as much on the right side, but especially the left side was very efficient on setting up triangles. It left a big gap in the middle of the park. But Amrabat was really good in sweeping up the dangerous areas. So it actually worked very well. But it comes a little bit to the individual brilliance of Chelsea. You know, if Enzo or Caicedo could have beat the press, we would have been in trouble. But they didn't. So that was good for us.
So we spoke about the sort of risk that this sort of style of play carried. Do you think it's the sort of thing that we've just got to start to do? Or do you think it was a one-off to kind of get the fans behind us? Do you think we can do it again against Bournemouth? Because I know everyone's saying, it's just Bournemouth sort of thing. But at the end of the day, they've only lost one of their last 5 games, which I think was against City. They've drawn 2-2 with Chelsea, which, say what you want about that. They beat Newcastle 2-0. They've beat Palace last night 2-0 away. I think they've got 12 goals in the last 5 games, and I think they've got about 8 or 9 different goal scorers. So we've got to be careful not to underestimate them. Do you think we can play this style of tactic against Bournemouth?
I think Bournemouth is very underrated. They have a new manager. His name is Andoni Iraola. He comes from Spain. I heard people talking about him. Nuruddin from United Real Therapy. He talks really well about him. He's a very astute tactical manager, as most Spanish managers are. So I don't think it will be an easy game. Bournemouth is one of the better teams at the moment. They are the informed team in the Premier League, I believe. So we will be up for a fight.
Yeah. It's just picking up on a different style of comment from SPK. Why are we not looking at Bowen? I think it's one of those situations where you see somebody having a good season. I mean, Bowen's, I think, has played quite well for a few seasons now for West Ham. He had a bit of a dry spell, but he's come good. But at the end of the day, he's one of those players who plays in the sort of same position as Bruno Fernandes. And we saw it with Donny van der Beek, and I can't remind me about, we've got other players who are trying to play in that same position. Mason Mount, and they just can't get in the team. So I think Bowen, I'm not saying he would want to leave West Ham because he's been there for years now. But I think for him to leave there and go to United, he's got to have a starting position, and I don't think he would. I think it's just one of those positions that at this moment we're not looking at moving on. Yeah, go on, Jarvis. Yeah.
Quick question. Do you think we are too quick to judge when it comes to new players, as we talk about now with Mason Mount, Amrabat, Donny van de Beek, for example, in the beginning, and maybe we drain them for confidence too soon. You know, we don't give them a chance to try themselves.
I'll go.
Sorry,
I
just need to share this. Sorry, I just need to share this breaking news.
Wow.
2-1. Yeah. It's come up. I've had the notification.
As you were, carry on.
That one. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think Jarvis. I think we are quite a lot. I think we, especially. Do you know what? Manchester United fan base are actually, we're notorious for this. For not so much judging players based on their performance, but almost oversimplifying football when it comes to players that have come to the club, especially if they're not English. Especially if they're not English players. When players come to the club, this is what happened with Di Maria, right? When Di Maria came to the club, he had the personal problems that he had or whatever, but we gave Di Maria no patience at all. So if you remember, Di Maria had a performance. I can't remember who we were playing against, but where there was boos from the from the stands, and this was only a few weeks after he had the incident of his house being broken into and all of that, and he was booed I was shocked. I was at Old Trafford. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it was happening.
I think the reason he was booed though wasn't about his performance. It was because he said he didn't want to be there. And he would rather be, he was only kind of using us because he didn't have a choice to join, sort of thing. He wanted to just get out of where he was. So the fans were like, well, if you don't want to be here, do one.
No, I get that. But I'm saying as a fan base, I don't think we give players enough chance to prove to us.
I agree.
That they can improve and at least get to the level that we need them to be. I mean, look now, Amrabat, right? Amrabat, someone has just put a comment just now. I'll see if I don't know if you've seen it, but someone's put a comment to say Amrabat was written off. Half the fan base is saying, "Oh no, he's shit. He's rubbish. Send him away. Get him out. He's useless." And I'm like, well, look, I know he hasn't shown you any performances to say you should trust him and he should be starting for the team, but you cannot conclude to say that this player is not good enough because he didn't have a preseason. He's come into the team. He came in with an injury already.
I'm playing.
So when he's coming, he's not started. So his first 3 games is coming off the bench, playing at left back.
Yeah, that's
not his position at all. Not even. He said he's never played at left back before because people were saying, no, he was playing at left back sometimes apparently for Morocco. And I said, I don't think he ever played him at left there before. So why is he playing now? And you expect him, no preseason, coming fresh off injuries and playing in the completely wrong position, wrong foot, was in a team that's already disjointed, not working together, not clicking. Players are not working. The manager's tactics are a bit questionable at times. You're asking this player who's come fresh in the Premier League to all of a sudden perform miracles for your club. It's unrealistic. And as a fan base, we're very guilty of this. We do this a lot. We do this very, very, very much. And I think we need to sometimes just sit back and just look at what are the factors around that particular player and take everything into consideration before we criticize to the point, because we forget we're the loudest fan base, whether we like it or not. What we say is what the narrative is out there. So even the rival fan base in Manchester United stories, they come from us. They don't come from anywhere else.
While we're talking about Amrabat,
this is all on their. Yeah, go on.
Are you losing Jimmy?
Yeah, you're breaking a little bit up, Jimmy.
We just lost you. That was all, mate. So I started speaking. You gone? So no, sorry, mate. Are you back now?
No, it's fine. Do you know what? I might have to jump out and jump back in because I'm you're breaking up to me as well. So I'll jump out and I'll jump back in.
All right, we'll carry on. No worries. Jarvis, who was your man of the match last night? Obviously, you know, Jimmy spoke about Amrabat. That was one of the questions that was raised. So some people said that he had a really good game. I mean, for me, it was one of those where when the commentators are talking towards the end of the game, who'd you pick for your man of the match? It was obviously going to be Scott because of his 2 goals, and without those, we couldn't have won. But who was your overall? For the first time in a while, I struggled to pick someone, not because nobody had performed, but because so many had performed.
Mm.
Who would you give it to?
When you speak about man of the match, I think about man of the match performance, and I think most of them had a man of the match performance. They played their best game of the season. Højlund in his way, Garnacho in his way, Amrabat in shielding the defense. I think Maguire was good. I think Luke Shaw had a good game. Dalot had a good game. Anthony had a good game. So yeah, it's very hard to say, but for me, I said it yesterday. Amrabat was my man of the match because I liked how he filled that role. But
he did.
Even though we have, I think we have tried to play the same style with the defensive midfielder. I think Casemiro also had the same what do you call it, instructions and how to play. But it's easier to play that role because of the rest of the team functions. You know, as I told you, we were on the front foot and we were aggressive and we were fighting and we were running back when we lost the ball, and everybody was working as a team, as a unit. And this is the thing, you know, and this is what Ten Hag probably have seen, because if everybody do their job, we can play with one DM. This has been one of my biggest criticisms of Ten Hag this season. I have said that he's naive in playing one DM in the Premier League because we get caught off guard a lot of the times because it leaves a big gap in the middle of the field. But I think we saw against Chelsea what Ten Hag is trying to do, and gives me a little bit more positivity thinking going forward. But it's not up to Amrabat or the lone DM. It's about the rest of the team and how to defend as a unit. So yeah, but to answer your question, my man of the match, Sofyan Amrabat.
Fantastic, very good. I think for myself, I sometimes think like a coach, as Bestie speaking about. I don't know what you saw. I saw this comment. It was about 10-15 minutes ago. Sorry, Bestie. I'm not quite sure what I was talking about at the time, but I do sometimes put my sort of coach's head on and think. So sometimes when I'm giving player of the match to the kids at the end of a game, one of the things that we look for is not necessarily the person who scored 2 goals or got 2 assists or made 2 saves, but sometimes it's given to the person who has improved the most. And yes, thank you, SPK. Absolutely fantastic. That is the perfect result, the perfect midweek results for United. Absolutely fantastic. What great going into the weekend. Let's not mess it up now. I put my coach's head on. And as I say, sometimes look for it. Somebody who's come out, made a difference, stepped up and showed I am here to play, I am here to fight. And for that reason, Amrabat could have come into that category, but for me, I would have to give it to Anthony because he didn't lose his head. He didn't seem to make any silly mistakes or rash tackles. He seemed to have composure. He seemed to have a lot more good decision making. I'm not saying he was the best player on the pitch. I'm not saying that before I get slated in the VAR room. But for me, for his improvement that everyone's been screaming for, and the next thing that's going to come is goals and assists. The only thing I think he made one mistake where there was 3 or 4 players in the box and he went for the shot into the top corner. And he held his hand up. But if it would have gone in, it would have been, well done, fantastic. But it didn't. And I think in that moment when we're really looking for the goals and there's only 1 goal in it, you've got to look for that pass.
And when speaking of Anthony, his comments before the game, did you read what he said about being a footballer and they are humans after all, and we got to understand that it affects them, what been written in the media and you know, he's been through a lot in Brazil and what happened. So we got to remember and maybe not be too harsh on our players. Sometimes they just need some love from the fan base to perform. You know, it's not always the easiest is not always performing under the whip. Maybe you need a carrot in front of you to have motivation.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I mean, we don't want to get too carried away over one game. I'm not going to downplay the result against Chelsea, because at the end of the day, they have got a wealth of talent on that pitch. They've got they have got some of the world's best players. I'm not saying they're worldies, but when you look at like Enzo, 115 million, Casido, who was like, everyone was like, we've got to get Casido. So many people. I think Nuruddin was like a big advocate for Casido, and we know that he's an absolute quality player. He's just not showing it at Chelsea at the moment. But just because he's not showing it doesn't mean that they've not got the players. So we still beat a very good Chelsea side if you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, what we've now got to do is say, that's just 3 points. Well done, lads. Give yourselves a pat on the back. But you've shown what you can do now. Now the fans are going to expect that every game. And if you're and what Ten Hag needs to do is set more examples. If he sits there, I'm about 7 million loan up against 200 million player. Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. You know, he just absolutely bossed that midfield. It was fantastic. Milos Mitic, good evening. How are you doing? You okay?
Dobre večer.
I think that means good evening, does it?
Yes.
Dobre večer. Good evening. Yes. See, I've learned. I don't even know what language it is, but I've learned it.
Serbian.
Dobre večer, Monty. Pozdrev. What's that? Good, my friend, is it? Or something like that? We'll go with my friend. I like that. My friends. Yeah. We'll go with that. Madhouse is in the house. Good evening, Madhouse. Just a few more shout outs to anybody. Question from Bestie. What was the most obvious thing in yesterday's team? I don't know if you're asking this as a rhetorical question or not, or making a statement. I mean, it was honestly, are you talking about who was there, who wasn't there? You're talking about the attitude, the performance. Bestie, you'll have to give us the answer to that to your own question, because I'm not quite sure what you think.
I think you're just asking what's our take. What was the most obvious thing? And for me, it was effort. You could see we were playing on the front foot, so everybody was fighting for the team. We played as a unit, so effort would be the most obvious thing yesterday for me. Yeah. I see Bestie comes in and he says the attitude was the most obvious thing. Yeah. So
absolutely was. Yeah.
I think we agree.
Completely was. My comments have gone funny now. This is what Rebbe was saying before. So many people talking the team down instead of supporting them. Absolutely. We've just got to get behind them now. Just going through a few more of the good evenings. Anybody I've missed, if I've not? Lucky Singh. Good evening, Lucky Singh. How you doing? You all right? Luan, good evening. Milos Mitic, Madhouse. Jamie Wayne, good evening. Quick update, then I'm off. Spurs and Newcastle both lost. They did. Thank you, Jamie. Good evening.
Good results.
Everton clapped Newcastle. I'd have to try and see if I can see some highlights tonight or something on something. Anybody else who I've missed? Anybody? Okay, so most obvious thing, Evo, Bazic saying, is Rashford will never be a work rate player. He's physically not built that way. Do you know what? When you see the performance that we put on yesterday, and you see Rashford coming on with 10 minutes to go, he looked to be, and I'm being generous, 70% of what everybody else was giving. He almost, you could see him playing centre forward, and the ball was over there, and then he was jogging and thought, I can't jog, I've got to run, everyone's running. And then he'd run a little bit, but not 100%, maybe 70% run. I just don't know. There's rumours that, I've read today that he's got a deal signed with, or deal, don't sign, but a swap deal with Barcelona. I can't remember who they were rumoured to be swapping for, but
Rafinha
That was it.
was the rumor.
Rafinha.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, that's what I read. But again, Rafinha is a right winger. You know, we spoke at the top of the show. We've got Amad Diallo back from injury, who, you know, we've seen what he can do. I know it was at Sunderland, but we know what he can do. He was their player of the season. He was getting goals. He was getting assists. He's only played a few games for us, but he's got that absolute great flick header, which we all remember, which was fantastic. I think he's, you know, we've got him. We've obviously got Anthony, who's just put in his best performance. And Pelistri, who plays on the right wing as well. Again, fighting position, still playing well for Argentina when he's getting his chances. And plays for us when he gets his chances. I think he's just got to like kind of bulk up and get a bit bigger, ready for the Premier League, because he's just knocked off the ball a bit too much. So yeah, I'm not sure right now. We need another right winger. I know Sancho's gonna go.
Yeah, but Rafinha is versatile. He can play on both sides. So yeah, he would be a great player to have in our squad. But I don't think a Brazilian want to come from Barcelona to Man United at this moment of stage in our build up. I think we should go for other profiles. To be fair, even though he played good in a what's the name of the Leeds manager, Bielsa, even though he functioned in a Bielsa, because Bielsa crazy football is a little bit similar to what we did yesterday, playing with 8 to 9 players in high press.
Bestie's saying Adama Traore. You think we should? The thing is, for me, he's obviously he's just a man mountain, isn't he? But he can't score. You know, he went to Barcelona, he came back. I can't remember who he's playing for at the moment.
Wolves.
Is it Wolves? Is he back at Wolves? Did he turn a loan spell from Wolves? Yeah, he did, and he's back at Wolves. But he's not a starter for Wolves, is he?
No, I don't think he starts every game. They have Neto, who's a brilliant winger, for example. So, yeah, I think he's too one-dimensional. Same as that's my problem with Rashford. He's too one-dimensional. You know, he's a pace merchant. A lot of people call him that. And I see, for example, Ivo Bosic talk about it. He's a sprinter. You know, he got pace. He's not. He don't have the endurance needed for the high press that the Ten Hags want to do. So for me, the biggest problem for Rashford at the moment is how is he going to adapt to this style and this team? Is he a player that can adapt to the manager's wishes, or do he only have the pace in his locker? What do you believe, Phil? Can he adapt and evolve his game?
It's a tough shout, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, we've got. I'm not sure. I mean, what do you think his best attribute is at the moment?
Goal threat is Rashford's thing, but he hasn't scored many goals this season. That's what kept him in the team last season, I believe. You know, he had many bad games where he wasn't involved, but he scored goals, so we forgave him. This season he haven't scored goals, and you know, if you don't track back, you don't get the fans on your side if you don't score goals either.
I think my problem is that there's so much off the pitch that's being said about him, as well as on. And if it's true what's being said, that he's causing trouble, then I'm not too worried about him adapting. I've loved, you know, I love the fact that the story that he came through the academy and he won in the youth team, and he got his big chance when was it Martial got injured. He came on against Midtjylland, and then he scored 3, 4, 5, 6 goals in about his first 4 or 5 games, a couple against Arsenal and stuff like that, and he hit the ground running. He was absolutely fantastic, and the rest is history. He just went on from there. But something's changed, and whether it was this renewal of the contract, where he's like, I've made it, I'm the big I am. I don't know. Is he one of those players who thinks this is my club, I've been here longer, sort of thing? I'm not saying he is. I'm saying is he?
Yeah.
It's a statement. It's a sort of question, not a statement. Is that what's going on? Because if it is, then he really needs to sort himself out. Because if he wants to play for the club, he was born. He was born into, if you like. Then this is the perfect opportunity to do what Maguire's had to do, and fight for your position.
Yeah.
And when you get your opportunity, come on and show the difference. You know, so as a coach, we try not to call our kids subs. We call them game changers now. Because at the end of the day, it's a much more positive approach, but it's genuine. You know, if you want to come on, if you're starting as a sub, it's because the other guy trained better last week, or he tried harder in the game last week. So if you want to do better, show me what you can do when you come on. You know, and Rashford doesn't seem to be coming on with that attitude at the moment. He seems to be coming on with the attitude of, oh, I can't believe I'm coming on a sub. Go on then, I'll play. And it's like, no. Hang on a minute. No, these guys are dying on the feet here, because they're giving their all, which is what the players, what the fans are asking for. What you need to play for Man United. And if he's not got that, I'm not saying he hasn't. If he's not got that passion anymore, if he's not got that belief and that desire to play for United, it doesn't matter what position you put him in, he isn't going to perform, because he was playing left wing, which has been his position for a year and a half, 2 years, where he's kind of nailed that position down. And Garnacho, this young kid, who we know is this wonder kid, so to speak, has come in and took that place off him. And so we saw him go on to the right wing ahead of Anthony, who was making his comeback, ahead of Pellistri, who's a right winger, obviously ahead of Sancho. And he had a couple of better performances where he made a couple of moments, which were a pass here and a pass there sort of thing, and a cross and a bit of a good run. And then obviously we got the red card against
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, thank you.
Yeah.
And that changed the whole game, and then suddenly it was all backwards again. But I think with Rashford, like I say, if he really wants to play for the club, he will stay past January. There'll be no rumours of him leaving, and when he gets his opportunity, we'll see him take it the way that every single player who stepped on that starting 11 last night for United took. They were given an opportunity to get out there and prove themselves. Simple as that. And if Rashford wants to play for the badge, if he wants to play for the club, if he wants to show that he is the best, I'm not saying he is, in his mind, if he believes it, he wants to show it, then he needs to get out there and put on the shirt and give us his best, because we've not seen it for a long time. We've not seen it once this season. And I know that some people say he's got issues going on off the field, whether it's mental issues or family issues or whatever it may be. And we spoke a lot about the human factor in this show already. Absolutely, sympathy with those people. But at the end of the day, you've got
it's a competitive game.
It's match fit. He's not. If he's not match fit, whether it's mentally or physically, then tell the boss, I've got a problem. I need to deal with this, and I'm not match fit. I'm really sorry to let you down. But it's better that than bringing somebody on who's going to be half-hearted. Do you know what I mean? You see Joe Hugill coming on, or someone like that, who would have come on and ran the socks off for those 15 minutes.
I agree what you're saying, Phil, and for me, it's obvious for me that it's something mentally that's like maybe his legs are and his body is in physical shape at the moment, but when it comes on the pitch, he can't turn on the switch and perform at the level that he wants. Maybe he has too high expectations of himself. Maybe it's time to just do a reset, go take a step down, tell the coach, as you said, I need some time to develop, find myself, find the focus again. But for me, I think it's a lot of reasons, as Ivo mentioned, the pace. He needs to develop his game. I think he needs to learn a couple of things. First of all, his press play. He needs to learn how to press. If you press press a player, you can't run straight into him. You have to pick a side and come in from one side and press them one way. You see Rashford, he always goes straight ahead to when he tries to press. That's one thing, and it should be easy for him to, and the coaches in Man United, to learn him how to press. Another thing is how to shield the ball. Rashford he's like a semi-bulked up guy. He should be able to hold the opposition away. He should learn how to put up his arm and shield the ball with his body. But he goes in like this, and the defender comes in with the legs and take away the ball. Another thing is keep your head up, look around. You know, when he gets the ball, his eyes goes down on the ball and he starts dribbling because he wants to go. He wanted to go fast, pace. He runs and looks down. It should be easy to coach him. Learn, step on the ball, look up, look where you're heading, look at your teammates, try to figure out what's going on. And now, you know, he's set in a pattern. It's like a default mode all the time. He's doing all these mistakes over and over again. So that's why I think he needs a reset. He needs to sit on the bench for at least 5 to maybe as long as 10 games, maybe 2 to 3 months. Train on himself, develop his game, and then come back. We all saw Harry Maguire, mentality monster, I will call him, because he's been through the river of sticks. You know, that Greek mythology. That's the river of lost dreams. It takes away everything, and you got to be really strong to come out of it. And actually, Maguire, what he have done, his mentality, his strength coming out of this is so impressive. He has the right attitude to play for United. Maybe he's not the right player for Man United, but his attitude is 100%. You got to believe in yourself and work on yourself. This summer, he had special practice with Carvalho, you know, the Porto and Chelsea centre back. Yeah. He was in special training for a couple of months. And you know, you got to work on yourself, and this is how you improve and have belief all the time. So respect for Maguire, and I believe Rashford needs to develop his game to come back, because as it's now, his default mode isn't good enough.
I think you're right. I think you've made some really good points there, and I think, you know, one of Rashford's, he was a bit like Anthony in a sense that you kind of knew what he was going to do, but with Anthony it was always to the right. So it was easy, just everyone would just show him that way and then just tackle him when he went. It was simple. With Rashford, his strength was a quick step over and then a dummy and then play it through or play it round and he'd run round the back sort of thing and play the ball. Whenever he receives that ball in a 1-to-1 this season, in that moment on the left wing or the right wing, he looks like a rabbit in the headlights, doesn't know what to do. You can see that moment. You can see the camera looking at him, and he's almost like going, and you've got to, if you're going up against two players with that sort of mindset of I'm going to take you on, you've got to have the belief. And at the moment, he really doesn't believe in his own ability anymore, and that's a problem. Whether he's showing it in training or what, I don't know. But the fact that he's not. You know, he came on last night, and for me, he came on because he had fresh legs, but he didn't look like a threat. And I know it was much more towards the end of the game, and we brought Johnny Evans on as well to show at the back and just to get the win in the end. But to me, if I brought one of my kids on. Not my kids, one of the kids into a kids game, and they just kind of moseyed on around the front. I mean, it's different for us with thingy because you've got unlimited subs, so you can make those changes. You can drag them straight back off and go, why didn't you run then? And you can send them back on and try again. But with Rashford, he I'm not saying he needs to be made an example of, because at the end of the day, there's still the human element. And we've seen the situation with Sancho, and that's just not gone down well at all in many ways. And different people have got different opinions on that as well. And we've discussed that in many times. But I think with Rashford, I think you're absolutely right. I think to see him 2 games in a row as a starting point on the bench is a start to show Ten Hag's hand to say, I'm in control here. If you want that place, fight for it. And if I bring you on, show me why you're going to start next time. And every time he doesn't, he starts on the bench. And if he doesn't get on if he keeps coming on and not performing, then he gets dropped for me.
Yeah,
because you've got to work your way back. You can't be coming on. Bestie saying he was sent on by Ten Hag to embarrass him. Perhaps did it to cheese him off and anger him to kickstart his mentality. Maybe he did, but it didn't work. It didn't work for me. What we saw was the mentality of every player who started the game saying, we're not going to have people saying things that they said about us this week in the media after that Newcastle game, saying that we don't care and we can't be bothered and there was no running. What have we got here? Sorry. Lily saying, Man United will never challenge for big titles with Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw, Bissaka and McTominay. I'm sorry. At this moment, Maguire has just got Premier League Player of the Month, not Man United Player of the Month chosen by Man United players, fans. This is recognised by many for his ability to turn it round. Shaw has been nothing but fantastic since he came back. Wan-Bissaka was doing well and then didn't again. And McTominay is our top goal scorer. So I'm sorry, Lillis, but on this moment, I completely disagree. They are the ones who are carrying the team and they are fighting for the badge. And that's what you need playing for a team. If you're not prepared to fight for the badge, we've seen where we try and bring a big name player in and they're going to make the difference. Well, they don't. They don't. Look what happened when we brought Sanchez in from Arsenal. To me, that was a big problem for us. We did it to stop City buying him because we panicked. And by doing
Sanchez.
it, what did I say?
Sancho, but Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, Alexis Sanchez. And by doing it, we sacrificed Mkhitaryan, who for me had done absolutely nothing wrong. I was gutted when that guy it was made up when we were getting Sanchez because he was playing fantastic for Arsenal. We needed someone on the left wing and it was going to be amazing. But Mkhitaryan I thought I really liked him playing for us. If anybody remembers, because it was such a short stint, but he was sacrificed, and that was sad for me to see our club behaving the way that we did. And the point I'm making is we've gone for the big name who everyone wants. And what we need to do is get the players in who people haven't quite heard of, like Højlund. You know, the only reason he was recognisable because it sounded like Haaland, and people were like, "Ooh, who's he?" sort of thing, you know. And it had this comparison. He was from the same part of the world, up north, sort of thing. So
Scandinavian.
And from that perspective, people started to take a little bit of interest, and then linked to this team and this team. But I just think we need to be going for maybe the only one who we really wanted was Osimhen. We wanted. Good evening, Stephanie. Good evening. Welcome to the channel. It's nice to meet you. I believe you're here for your first time. But
no, Stephanie is one of the regulars.
I'm joking.
Hit the like, people. Hit the like.
No, hit the likes. Don't forget to hit the likes, guys. Play Mainu for McSauce. The midfield control issue. You'll see Højlund start getting chances. You might do, but at the end of the day, see, one of the things that you've got to look at when you watch the whole team performance, you've got to look at the fact of not every player's on the pitch. Some players are on the pitch to do a job, and I know that Højlund was bought as a goal scorer. There's no doubt about that. But what he's doing with his runs, dragging people out the way, holding the ball up with his strength, playing the ball off, he's having a positive impact on the team. And he's not that far away from his first goal. It's coming. I know McTominay got the header, and when you look at Højlund, he was running in, and he wouldn't have got to it because McTominay was coming this way, and Højlund was going almost backwards, and he probably wouldn't have got a clean head on it. But it'll come. You know, there was moments in the game last night where the ball came in, and you think, "Oh, why was no one there?" And I wanted Højlund. I can't remember it was who crossed it. I think it was possibly Garnacho. Whipped the ball across. Someone took a shot maybe, and if he'd have just chanced like Van Persie would have done, slid in at the back post, as we saw. I don't like to use his name, Aguero. He used to do it. He used to slide in at the back, and take those chances and slide in at the back post. It would have gone in off him, and it would have been a goal. But he didn't. He kind of run towards it, and I thought, he was a bit late on it. He's just not quite getting those moves just yet, sort of thing. So SPK saying that ETH coming man of the month tomorrow when it's announced. What are you saying? Sorry. Yeah.
I just want to give a quick comment on Ivo Bosic and the McTominay thing. For me, I see it in the future, because I had the biggest discussion today with people on Twitter about this issue with Mainu, because he's more controlling. He knows how to take down the tempo with the ball. Because now we saw against Chelsea, the game was we were attacking and Chelsea was attacking, so it was very up and down. So we play very open in a way, and as long as we can keep the press going, we play like a little bit. I would say we are a little bit. You compare us with Klopp in the beginning of his Liverpool period, when he played with players like Milner, Lallana, Henderson. They call it heavy metal football. But we saw it because they had no one in the midfield who could control the tempo. So it was a little bit wild all the time. And this is what we are experiencing at the moment. I feel we need a more, I would say, a someone who can dictate the tempo of the ball, because we can't keep attacking and running like crazy for 90 minutes. Sometimes we need to take the ball down, control it, and rest in possession. So this is where I think we will see the next level of Ten Hag, if he gets to implement this high press play, high recoveries, and start to get the team going. The next is improving the quality of the players, and maybe Mainu is the answer, or maybe some other Frankie de Jong type of player can come in and help us develop that part of the game. This is just my thoughts. What's your opinion of that, Phil?
No, I think you made some good points. I think we've made, what we're seeing a lot. We're talking about Man United today. What we're seeing a lot is the amount of injuries, and people questioning why we're getting so many injuries. Mainu's a kid, and some people say that he's only a kid. He should be able to play game after game after game. But for me, your body's got to learn to adjust to play to that level, or he's So obviously, Amrabat played a great game last night. We spoke of many times already. I wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag started Mainu at the weekend against Bournemouth, because they can both play that role quite well. I don't think he's going to drop McTominay because he's in the form of his life at the moment. So I think it'd be Mainu and McTominay against Bournemouth. Because it will give him that, game to game, rest one, play one, rest one, play one sort of thing. Build them both up, as you were saying earlier. He's got to be. I think Mick was possibly saying it as well. He's new to the Premier League. He's learning to develop. He started at left back when he first came. He didn't have a pre-season, so he's still finding his legs and his speed and the pace of the Premier League, not his speed, but the pace of the Premier League sort of thing. Match fit. The rumor is sort of mid to the end of January. I don't know if you can look at injury room quickly, Jarvis, for an update on that one. It's a fair question. I've just seen it. I'm going to try and find it again. Here it is. Ivo Bosic saying we need Sam Maguire and McSauce in January while they're in form, 50 million each. I disagree. I think for me, if you've got players who are playing well, why sell them? It doesn't make sense. We've got no one who's going to replace them. They are two of our best players at the moment. So for me, it's not about screwing up. I think we screw up if you sell your players who are playing at the best form at this moment. That's my opinion. Here we go. So
this is the injury room.
Thank you. Yeah. Nice little advert there. Tyrell Malacia, potential return 14th of January. Casemiro, 14th of January. So Malacia with a knee injury. And I heard that the knee injury was had a bit of a setback with his operation as well, which is why Malacia is taking longer. Casemiro with the thigh injury. My question is, will we see Casemiro play for United again? Don't know.
Yeah.
Lisandro Martinez, 13th of January, a day before Malacia. That's a bit random. And Eriksen the night this week. That's interesting. Eriksen, Sancho, obviously no return date. See, the only problem with this is a perfect example. So it's obviously not up to date at this moment. Amad Diallo, no return date, and we know he started training again this week. So it's not quite up to date, but it gives us a rough interest. Rafael Varane back injury. I'm not sure about that, but there we go. But anyway, yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. We're talking the sort of middle of January of when we're expecting Leacher back. So 34 likes, as Stephanie said. Thank you. Keep those likes coming. There's 43 of you watching live at this moment. See if we can get up to 40. That'd be great. Anybody who we've not given a shout out yet. Mark, both of them were mistake buys anyway. I'm not quite sure who we're on about at this moment. So, yeah, sorry, I'd have to move on from that, Mark. Unless we're talking about Mkhitaryan and Sanchez, maybe.
I don't
know. I think that's possibly who we were talking about at the time. So yeah, obviously SPK is mentioning about Lisandro coming back in the year with Time Malacia. Yeah, can't wait for the butcher to come back, something like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's the one we're all waiting for. You know, he's so important for our style to play out from the back. At the moment, we're struggling a little bit. It's better with Luke Shaw, but still, it's not the same as Lisandro Martinez, because he can break the lines easily with his passing foot. He's very good in that part of his game. And if we then can get Mainu going, we suddenly, or Amrabat going, we suddenly have a combination of players that will work for our benefit in playing out from the back.
I agree, and I think we saw a lot of that from Lindelof last season. And I think part of the reason that Ten Hag started Lindelof last night was for that same reason, that he thought he would play that, but he just didn't seem to do that. I don't remember Lindelof last night having that much impact on the game. There was no memorable moments or anything.
No.
Not too much anyway. I'm not saying he didn't
He
perform.
was in fault for the goal because he's too passive in his press. He left too much of a space to Chelsea when they scored. And this is Lindelof all the time. You know, he's too passive. He's not aggressive enough. And I think a lot of fans see this and address this when it comes to him. And even Ten Hag saw this when we moved, as I mentioned, Luke Shaw into left centre back. He was much more aggressive, because in the first half it was only Maguire. So both of the centre backs were aggressive and not only pushing forward but pushing out. They have the guts to push out and fill the room for the fullback, so the fullback can push forward. So I think Lindelof had a bad game yesterday, but you know he's people call him like a steady Eddie, so he's good to have on the bench, being third, fourth option, and come in and play a game now and then if we have injuries or need to rest players. So I'm not turning on Lindelof yet. I think he's one of those players that's good to have in the squad.
Yes, I agree. He's a good squad player at this moment. I think obviously Johnny Evans being back from injury isn't a good thing, and we didn't think we'd be saying that at the beginning of the season. But he's played well for us when he's been available. So that's a good thing a good asset to have, and I think he'd actually be above Lindelof possibly if he was fitness levels. But Ivo Bosic saying McSauce and Højlund are occupying the same space. This is an issue. It could be an issue, but at the same time, McTominay is getting the goals, so I'd love Højlund to score, but at the same time, I just want United to score at the moment. I want us to take the chances, and if it's McTominay who's getting it, then so be it. You know, that's my opinion. I know that there's a gap in midfield, but at the end of the day, that's what we don't want to see gaps in midfield, but we do want to see players pushing up the pitch. We want to see 3-4 options in the box when we're looking for a cross or we're looking for a through ball. And we've seen so many times this season, we're only seeing one player in the box, and it makes for absolute nothing. Bestie's kind of different opinion. And McTominay's pushed forward and doesn't have the defensive responsibilities. He's quite a dangerous player. Yeah, we're seeing it for United. We're seeing it for Scotland.
Pros and cons.
Stephanie's saying Amrabat and Højlund worked the socks off, and Garnacho deserved a goal. At least he really did. But when he tried his overhead kick, that was a funny moment. It was just like, you're not going to get two at once. But it was lovely to see that he still believes he can do it again, which was fantastic. Edmund, we have to seriously improve. Good evening. Sorry, we have to seriously improve our midfield retention of the ball. It's chaos when we lose possession. Yeah, completely agree with that. Stephanie saying 35 likes, 39 watching. We're now up to 44 watching, so keep hitting that like and subscribe button, guys. Don't forget that. So we just got a comment here from Ivo Bosic saying, okay, look at Chelsea's first goal. Bruno McSauce both forward, and Palmer got space by dragging Amrabat out wide to make a huge hole, which he exploited. He did, and I don't even in the show at the beginning, Ivo, when we were talking about this, we feel that, when you concede a goal, the whole team's conceded it, but actually we feel that perhaps Onana, a little bit more experience, as Jarvis was saying earlier, that, De Gea studied players, what they did, where they shot, where the most common sort of approach was to a goal. And that's the sort of thing that Onana is going to develop in his game. Thought he had a good game, but to me, this was his one moment of weakness his one mistake over 98 minutes, whatever it was, 96 minutes, 94. He was just one step too far to his right. And when he dove, you see some goalkeepers, they dive fast and low, and that hand is skidding across the ground. But when you watch this, Onana, when he dives for that to try and save that goal, he's sort of like this high off the ground sort of thing. When the ball goes under him, he doesn't slide. He doesn't dive across. So it's his style of diving as well that I noticed in that. He dove across, but he needed to dive lower, which is another skill to learn. And he's a big bulky lad, so to get down, that might be one of his weaknesses that he's got to work on. Sorry, moving back on. Lindelof was at fault for the first goal. SPK saying, always excuses for Newcastle or Spurs or Chelsea when lose, and none for Eric. Always excuses for Newcastle, Spurs or Chelsea.
Spurs or Chelsea when lose.
Oh, when they lose, but not for United.
No excuses. Yeah. There's no one. I just want to say one comment. I saw was a little bit funny from Madhouse. He said, "Can we call Angie the Aussie fraud now?" As people are calling Ten Hag the fraud, because Angie Postecoglou, who's been everybody's been waxing lyricals about the Spurs manager, and suddenly they have lost more than us. So everything changes very fast in football, and I understand the humor in this question. Angie has lost the dressing room at the moment, so this is what we're up against, and I'm really glad that Ten Hag addressed this before the game and actually pointed out with his finger to Samuel Luckhurst and a couple of the other journalists, because they are actually just trying to divide us and sell newspapers and clicks and ads by spreading lies, basically blatant lies. So I'm really happy that Ten Hag addressed it and took a stand. Okay, you're out. We're not having it. And I think it created a siege mentality within the group of the players, because it's us against them. You know, Ten Hag defended his players, not calling them out and they are useless and stuff like that. We are united in the dressing room. That was the words of Ten Hag in a way.
Just reading a few more comments on fitness levels and things like that as well at the same time. Sorry. Keeping players that can stay fit is important as well as Maguire and Scotty McTee that fit the bill, just like Bruno.
Good point.
Footy Live, good evening. Jarvis,
Good evening, Tom.
Good evening. You okay? 36 likes. We're nearly there. We're nearly reached the 40, which is nearly all of you. 37. Come on, we're nearly there. Creep up. Keep it going. So, Richo, we are staying up. Yeah, love it. Fantastic. 38.
Everton.
Two more likes. 2 more likes to go. Fantastic.
2 more likes.
Right. So we've got De Gea, United fan. Martinez's mentality and personality as well is a massive boost when he's back. Yeah, absolutely, really is. We were talking about that a little bit earlier about the difference that he'll make when he comes back. Højlund needs to do less in his build-up. Ivo Bosic is saying it's why he's never in the right spots. He needs to be a little more selfish and think a little like a striker. I think you know, Ivo, I've disagreed with a lot of the things that you've said tonight, but again, it's about opinions, and that's what this show is about. I think he does need to potentially wait for a goal, but I think when you look at the criticism that's been laid on Martial and Rashford, let's be honest, they're the main 2 people who it's been labelled, thrown at, and possibly, and certainly several more for Newcastle game. If Højlund stands around waiting for the ball to come to him, he's not playing to his strengths at this moment. He needs, or for the team's strengths, he needs to be getting those defenders tired and running them ragged and using strength against them and winning that ball against them. And yeah, he does need to be in the right spot. But at the same time, if the team are scoring goals, and I know it's only 1 game, but if we looked like we could have scored 4 or 5 last night easily, it could have been a cricket score. And potentially we should have took Chelsea to the cleaners. And it just feels like it's coming. It feels like it's there. You know, McTominay could have had 4 yesterday. You know, that header which was put straight at the keeper, and then he had that shot which he took really well, and then the next one went straight at the keeper, which he knew nothing about. But we are getting close to a big win. You can see it's coming. It's coming soon. I can feel it. You feel that the team are just starting to gel. But let's not get too excited after 1 game.
Yeah, I just want to big up Ivo Bosic because he has always a lot of good comments. You know, he tries to explain what he means about football, and he has a footballing mind. So big up Ivo. And when it comes to Højlund, you know, what I see with Højlund, okay, maybe he won't score a huge amount of goals this season, but he's a big lad. Like, he's a huge lump of muscles, and he always gives 100%. And playing as a centre back against a player like him, it's not easy when you see him coming running against you, and you know it's gonna hurt, because he will use his body to body check you and try to tackle and try to do everything he can to win the ball. You could see it yesterday's game with Caicedo. He tried to win the ball from Højlund, and Caicedo put his arms around him. But, you know, Højlund just shook him off. So this is the kind of type of player we got at the moment. And the good thing is, he is one player who do the work for 2 players. He binding up 2 center backs all the time. He's a constant threat, and it frees up space for the rest of us, rest of the players. So I'm really impressed by Højlund at the moment. But, you know, as Ivo mentioned, he needs to step up his game a little bit when it comes to being a striker.
We've seen what he can do in the Champions League. So again, you know, we spoke a lot on this show already tonight about adjusting to the Premier League, and maybe the Champions League, the pace of it, the movement to the other teams suits him a little bit better. But he'll get there because we know he can score goals. He's proved it. I think it was. Is he top goal scorer in the Champions League at the moment with 5 goals, something like that, or joint top goal scorer, or thereabouts at least. So considering we're nearly out of the Champions League, which we spoke about earlier, then, you know, he's certainly put his mark on it. If you saw a player who was an unknown, if you like, scoring 5 goals in Champions League, everyone would be going, "Who's that? We should be going for him in January." Well, we've already got him, and he's 20, and he's a man mountain.
Yes.
And
yeah, Højlund is on 5 goals. Haaland is on 5, and Morata is on 5. So yeah, Højlund is the top goal scorer. Yeah.
Stephanie, 42 likes. Thank you very much for the 34 people in the room. Love it. So yeah, but Bayender, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. I still don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. Bayender, yeah. When you know if Anana goes to the AFCON, it'll be interesting to see how he steps up. But I've heard he's really impressing in behind the scenes. That's what we're reading, sort of thing. So obviously we've been chatting for nearly 2 hours, which is not like us to lose 2 hours of our life, Jarvis, without us even noticing. But I would just like us to do the lineup 11, if you can get that ready for us ahead of the Bournemouth game. I must just move on to that now.
One more thing, Phil. Just one more thing.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Super chat, super chat, super chat.
Super chat.
Yeah,
You can read it out.
Sorry, did not see that. I apologize. I'm working my way through the comments and I missed that one. ETH, my manager. Sooner or later, we have to stick with one manager. More than 3 seasons, only 1.5 so far. Absolutely, you know.
True.
I know Sir Alex Ferguson was special for so many years. And when you look at the documentaries and you read about the newspapers at the time that were like, oh, get him out, he's rubbish. And some people in the board are like, no, we've got to stick with this guy. He's got something. When you look back at Ten Hag before he joined United, I know he was at Ajax, but he just showed something. He showed something different. And he was one of those managers who people were like, he's good. He's got something about him. And he said, it takes time to learn the players. It takes time to learn my style of play.
Yeah.
And I know how long he's been there now, but it is taking time. And it's a change of players all the time. So he's having to develop new players to his style of play, and it will come. I'm convinced of it. We're seeing moments of it, which means that it's there, but it's just not there consistently at the moment. And we need to start taking our chances because we are creating chances.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks for
the no, thank you very much. Thank you. That is absolutely fantastic. Really, really appreciate it. So Stephanie Griffiths asking a question. Question to you both. If you can just grab the lineup 11 while I bring this question up. Question to both of you. When Marna is fit and if Shaw's best position is left centre back, would you move Alicia to play midfield or play 3 at the back? I think for me, Shaw is playing really well at left centre back. And I know last season when we had a few injuries, there was talk of trying, and when it was actually when Casemiro got his red card against West Ham and he couldn't play against Arsenal. There was a lot of chat on social media that Leach might have been moved into midfield as a defensive midfielder for that for that game, and it never transpired. So I've not seen him play in that position. I don't know whether he can or not, whether he's done that before for Ajax. I honestly could not say. I do not know. I think the thing is, yeah, showing his best position is that maybe we do go back to a back 3. I don't know. I think at the moment,
we basically
like
play a back 3 when we build up. So
yeah.
This is how we attack. We have like a 3-1-6 formation or 3-1-3-3 or whatever you want to call it. So we most of the time play with the back 3 because the fullbacks push up. So basically we have 2 centre backs and 1 midfielder who's our defending line. Yeah. Good question.
Good question. Thank you. Got it's Timmy's joined the show as well. Good evening. It's Timmy, or it's Tim May. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. I do apologise. The way our team plays, it's hard for any striker to bring this one up. The way our team plays, it's hard for any striker to do much with the wingers being selfish and not crossing and always shooting, and even Bruno shooting when he should pass. Jarvis Cocker. So yeah. What's your thoughts on that, Jarvis?
I just want to say the way our team plays is hard for any strikers because we're being selfish, not crossing, always shooting. Yeah, and yeah, this is the problem with the inside forwards who tucks in like Rashford. We don't get enough crosses, but this is one of the things that we beat Chelsea yesterday was crosses in the last third. We had a lot of crosses. We had like 70% more crosses than Chelsea. So we have improved that part of the game also now when Rashford is on the bench, not in the starting 11. So maybe, but it's not only the wingers, it's the fullbacks too. Who cross the ball and the midfielders who plays on the wings when they go wide. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's very hard to understand this total football in a way. I know people laugh of it and say total football is just mumbo jumbo, but you got to respect Cruyff. He was one of the best footballers ever, and his brain and thoughts about how to play the game, and it's still valid in a way, even though the game has developed. So I believe that Ten Hag is trying to do something similar, and every player should be able to play in every role on the pitch, as you saw yesterday. Maguire playing as left winger and
Right
Højlund
wing.
plays
It's
as
mad, that one.
midfielder. Yeah. So, but this is the way
Yeah.
Ten Hag wants to play. It's called total football, and yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring up the lineup or?
Yes, please. Yes, because we can just do chats all night otherwise. And we have work tomorrow. So and there has been a question in the chat, which I'm not going to bring up any more chat comment just for the short time being. We're going to start going through the lineup. So what we're talking about here, guys, is the lineup that we would that we expect to see against Bournemouth. Not what we'd like. Is this our 11 that we would choose, or is it what we believe Ten Hag will choose? What do you think, Jarvis? What should we go with tonight?
Well, it's exciting to actually go for Ten Hag's 11 because now we have had two games on the bounce with a lot of tired legs. So I don't think we can play the third game in a row with the same 11. So maybe he needs to mix it up a little bit, and that's the exciting part.
Okay, so Onana ahead of Batinder because he's obviously still playing well without his mistakes. Somebody's asked about, do you think he'll play Batinder before the AFCON? I've asked this question before to get him ready, but I think at the end of the day, you can't do that. If Onana is number one, you've just got to bring him on. It's like if Onana, I don't wish this. If Onana suddenly got injured in a game, Batinder's got to come straight off the bench, straight into goal. He's got to be ready. It's simple as that. And he'll be like that with his first game. Mm-hmm. He's just got to be ready. He's just got to be. That's the life of a goalkeeper, especially a number two, and ready to take his chance. And don't forget, he's playing for his country, and they believe in him, and he's still playing well for them. So it's not like he's not getting any experience, but at the same time, we shall see. Left back. So this is interesting. So obviously we saw Lindelof make a mistake, and at half time we saw Reguilon brought on for Lindelof. Do you think he'll start Reguilon at the back, left back? Because we saw a difference, and he didn't play a full game. So
Reguilon, what a player! He came in and what a job! He impressed me really. Now I really understand what type of player he is. So for me, I would start Reguilon.
I would start him, and I think he came on against Newcastle, and he had 2 shots within 2 minutes as well. Both blocked, but really good shots. So absolutely, let's bring him on. Let's go with Reguilon.
Okay.
And don't forget, we spoke about this in the past, but with Reguilon, we tried to sign him before he signed for Spurs, didn't we? He wasn't new to us. It wasn't like a last minute panic buy. Maybe not. Shaw next, and then Maguire. Do you think?
I think that the center backs can handle the amount of games. It's not so intense for them. So I believe Maguire and Shaw, without a doubt. So let's just type in Shaw. Johnny Evans is back. This might be an option.
I think the only thing with
I
Johnny
think
Evans,
it's too soon.
He's only played a few minutes at the end of the game, didn't he? I think he'll be brought back in bit by bit.
Right back, Dallo or Wan-Bissaka? VAR room, get your votes in. Who do you want to play? Who do you think Ten Hag will play? Wan-Bissaka or Dallo?
Dear me, I think the thing for me is when Wan-Bissaka is playing. Madhouse is saying Wan-Bissaka. First opinion. Gaz is saying Dallo. 50-50 so far. Oh, Dallo's taking the lead in the votes. Oh, Scotty's at the wheel. Good evening, Scotty. Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
So we're working our way through those. I think
kind of 50-50.
Dallo's been playing well. So they've got like Solanke and stuff like that. I'm just trying to think of what their style. I've not watched that much of Bournemouth to know much about their style of play at the moment, to be honest. So I couldn't really say whether or not it'd be better with Wan-Bissaka or Dallo. I think Ten Hag's shown that he believes in Dallo because when he was playing left back the other week and then he moved him to right back and took Wan-Bissaka off. So for whatever reason at the moment, he's fell out with. He's trying to find his strongest 11 who are prepared to see. What was the game the other week where Wan-Bissaka was playing? Was that Newcastle? Did he start against Newcastle?
Wan-Bissaka played against Newcastle and Dallo played against. Didn't Dallo play left back against Newcastle?
He started at left back and then he took Wan-Bissaka off and moved Dallo to right back and he brought Reguilon at left back. The thing for me, Wan-Bissaka when he played against Newcastle, I know we all look terrible, but his strength that he normally has of pushing the player to the right and then he swings out on them and gets his tackle in. He didn't seem to have his pace. He didn't seem to have the decision making. So I think he's going to go with Dallo.
Yeah,
I'll go with Dallo.
For me, I think it's about fresh legs. Dallo played against Newcastle and Chelsea, so
Okay.
I think he will choose Wan-Bissaka just for the legs. And we have Bayern Munich on is it Wednesday? So we need to think ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, I think he will choose Adam Wan-Bissaka.
Start Wan-Bissaka. Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah. And Steph's got a good point. Toss a coin. If we rotate, use Wan-Bissaka. It's a small pitch at Bournemouth, so possibly Wan-Bissaka. Yep, we'll go with that. We will go with that.
Midfield.
So I was saying earlier in the show,
you mentioned McTominay.
I think he's just sticking with McTominay at the moment. He doesn't look tired. He looks like he can just get up and go again at the end of a 90-minute game at the moment. So I think he's going McTominay, and I think he might Mainu, maybe. I'm not sure he'll quite do Amrabat for another full game in a row. I don't know. You talk about freshening up legs and stuff like that. Mainu was sat on the bench, and Amrabat played a full game, and Mainu played the game before. Mainu played the game before. So, yes. So, Mark saying Amrabat, Mainu and Scotty in midfield saying. Scotty saying Mainu and. I think we're both clicking at the same time.
Yeah. You
no, it's fine. I click it and then it goes up and then it goes back away again. So Mark is saying Mainu will play versus Bayern.
Okay.
Good shout. Okay. Do you think if it's not broke, don't fix it? Is he going to go with Amrabat then?
Yeah, for me, I think Amrabat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Amrabat. It worked well, and that's supposed to be his best position. So let's see if he can keep that going. I think we're pretty much sold on this formation at this moment.
Actually, like this,
I think we're looking at certainly the player. Apart from the right back position, the rest or the back four a little bit, or the wing backs are possibly the biggest questions, but I think the rest picks themselves at the moment. Obviously, apart from Amrabat and Mainu, but I think left wing we're going to have to go with Garnacho at the moment. Played
Yeah, do you
fantastic
think really?
right to the end. Who else are you going to put?
I
Phil?
think he looked really tired at the end of the game. He ran a lot, all the time, and he played against Newcastle. So maybe it's time to give him a rest.
For who though?
Garnacho. I'm talking about Garnacho now.
Rest for who?
Well, the options is Rashford at the moment, as I see it.
I don't see it as an option based on his performance. If he'd have come on last night and showed us he was ready to play, yeah, go for it. But I think at the end of the day, Garnacho run ragged. But I think he's got to start. You've got to start your best 11 at this moment. I know we've got Bayern coming up, but we spoke already earlier in the show about what's the importance of the Champions League. We're going to try and win the game. Of course we are. But I think the importance is more about trying to do well in the Premier League, especially while other teams are dropping points around us. So I'll be very surprised if he doesn't start Garnacho and Anthony.
For me, I don't want him to start Rashford, but I feel like we got to be careful with the Garnacho. He's a young lad. He's not old. And sometimes they need a little bit of rest just to recover and be ready to go the next one. And even though the mental issue of it, like to keep them grounded and make them always want to improve. But and then again, we're talking about Ten Hag, and we know Ten Hag when it comes to a group of players that he trusts, and I think Garnacho is one of them at the moment. So I can see both points. It's hard for me, but everybody seems to want Garnacho.
Nobody agrees with you on this one. No, I've not seen one vote for Rashford. I'm sorry. I'm looking hard, but I'm not seeing anything.
The other options is Martial on the left, or even Pelestri on the left. But if
Martial
you don't want to play
is just
Rashford,
as bad as Martial. Put it this way: Rashford was brought on ahead of Martial. Take from that what you will. But for me, and he played him centre forward, which is supposed to be Martial's position. So to me, that was another statement being made by Ten Hag. Yeah.
Anthony on the right. You won't see Pelestri, and striker is probably Højlund.
Yes. Yeah. Amad Diallo's fit. I don't know if he's fit. Has he not just resumed training? I don't think he's fully match fit yet, is he? Or as Ten Hag said, he's match fit.
Twitter today came out and said that he was back in training.
Yeah, he's back in training, so he's not necessarily match fit yet. So usually Ten Hag, certainly, I'm not even sure we'll see Amad on that. We might see him on the bench, but I definitely don't think we'll see. I'm not sure we'll see him there. So thank you. So where's it gone? Ghazi's saying he's back on the grass. We don't need to know what he's doing in his personal life, but he's it's good to know. Højlund will get his Premier League goal, hopefully. Yeah, absolutely, Steph. I do believe that once he gets one, that weight will be dropped, and then the rest will come.
Mm-hmm. So, do we agree on the starting 11? This is we sub out Dalot for Wan-Bissaka and Reguilon on the left back, and it's basically the same 11 then, except for those two.
For me, this is the most likely starting 11. The only one that's questionable for me, well, the two that are questionable is Amrabat for Mainu and Wan-Bissaka for Dalot. But I'm happy to go with this as our lock it in team sort of thing, and see how many points we get. See if we get this right. 1 point for the right play, 2 points for the right, 1 point for the right player, and 2 points for the right player in the right position.
Who's keeping count?
Okay, so we've been live for 2 hours, guys.
2 hour mark.
We've lost most of you now, so it's good team, lads. Thanks, Steph. It's thank you. Let's stick with that. Just before we close the show, let's see score prediction. let's get your thoughts on this VAR room before we leave. Let us see your score prediction. Let me know what time kickoff is on Saturday. I tried to look before, but I couldn't see it.
I think it's 4 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock. 3 p.m.
3 o'clock kickoff, just mid-afternoon kickoff. Okay, so it's not televised then, so only certain streamers will be able to find this. But yeah, so give us your scores. Thanks, Stephanie. 3 p.m. Yeah. So just give us your score predictions, guys. Let us know what you think. Bear in mind what we were saying earlier about Bournemouth, who've been on a good run of form recently. De Gea fan is saying ETA, my manager, tough game, 2-1. And then 2-0 United from Gaz. Lucky Singh saying 3-1. Stephanie saying 44-0. Oh no, 44 likes. Sorry, that was it. Yeah. Madhouse is saying 3-1 United. Keep Rashford glued to the bench. So yeah. What's your thoughts, Jarvis? What's your score prediction for this?
Yeah, I believe we will win this game. But keep in mind, Bournemouth is one of the informed team. They won 2-0 against Crystal Palace away.
Yeah.
They drew against Aston Villa. They beaten Sheffield United, and they won 2-0 against Newcastle. So the only loss in the 5 last games is against Manchester City. But I believe we will win. I hope we will win. And my prediction is, I will say 3-1.
I knew it. Do you know what? It's my prediction as well. I'm going for it because I do feel that those goals will come in. I think with the form that Bournemouth are on, I think they can score. And I just think that Onana does have a mistake in him at the moment. Red is saying 2-0. DJ Superfly is saying 4-1. So yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're seeing a United win.
Yeah.
But let's hope so. We always go with the United win. It's very rare that we predict anything less. Neil Driscoll saying 2-1. I didn't pick 2-1 because I don't like it. It's nervy. It's
but Neil is a conservative. He's not spreading around with the big results. He's always like a realist. So when Neil believes we will win, we will win.
Good stuff. I like that. DJ Superfly saying Hoyland 3 goals and Garnacho 1. Yeah, we'd definitely take that. Right, guys. It's been over 2 hours. Really appreciate every one of you. We've tried to click on and comment on as many comments as possible. You've given us some great feedback as always. If you've not hit the like button, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And thank you everyone for joining. We're going to call the show now. Let some of you go and catch up on the match of the day, watch a bit of football. Catch I'm a Celebrity if you've missed that or whatever you fancy watching. It's entirely up to you guys. Let's just see if we can get the win. And hopefully next time we'll see you next week, we'll be celebrating another 3 points. I'm looking forward to the Liverpool game. Thanks, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jarvis, thank you very much, as always, for joining. Love doing the show with you. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you to for Mark. In the background, who's been running some of the show as well. Mark, give us a thumb up if you want to just join in the show for a minute. Do you want to join in for a minute? Yeah, give us a quick drop him in, add to the stage. Mark's been working. You're on mute. Oh, I can't believe we're saying it. You're on mute.
I always get the mute with the mic wrong. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream as much as I did. I think you guys did a great job. I kind of wish that we actually get up and get the belly to sell Rashford. It's time for him to go, guys. Like, I'm tired of it, of the excuses for him. It's 9 seasons, too many. 11 games and you haven't scored a goal from open play. I mean, come on, man.
No, but neither's Hoyland, so we'll not use that stat.
Hoyland is scoring goals in the Champions League. The stat for the PL doesn't matter. It's still within the same season. So like, you're going to say the top scorer in the Champions League can't score goals because he's in the PL.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just like that. You know, if you watch football long enough, you've seen many top strikers in various different clubs start off a season 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, no goal, and then just start scoring goals. It always happens.
They were saying last night, I think it was just before we go, I think they were saying it was Diego Forlan, 22 games before he scored. How mad's that?
Sometimes it's like that. You know, this guy Pauleta from Portugal had a run like that when he moved clubs one time. He spent almost half a season without scoring, and then after he ended up the top scorer in Portugal.
Wow.
So,
Lukaku every other season.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't rate that guy. You know, some of the buys that United have made over the past few seasons, I think were a lot of waste of time, you know. Sometimes the big names doesn't suit the club, like Sanchez, rubbish. You know, Mkhitaryan, rubbish. Lukaku, rubbish. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I think we buy players based on hype, and sometimes the hype for me is like, it's not necessarily hype that we need at Manchester United, you know? Like, sometimes it's they got hype, but they ain't got the, you know, the body of work or the mentality. They don't have the style. They're just intrinsically, they don't fit the club. You know what I mean? They look weird even wearing the kit. You know what I mean? Not to say it like that. It just feels like that to me, you know? But I just think the players, some of them last night, especially, they showed that fight. They worked hard. They gave the effort. You know, they kept to the principles. And I mean, we could have scored more goals. Sure, we conceded a goal, but it could have gone where we could have been up 3-0 at the half. You know what I mean? It would have been a different game if Bruno scored the penalty. Yep. You know, sometimes it's football. You know, it's not a perfect game. You know what I mean? A lot of mistakes happen. Mistakes is what sometimes allow you to score goals. It's also, you know, the way sometimes players like might make a dribble. They mistakenly dribble the ball past the player and then they score a goal. You know what I mean? But so these things happen. Sometimes it's how the players recover in the game and finish the game. You know, it's what's really important, because players could make a mistake during the game and they could recover. You know?
Yeah.
If you don't forget as well, players, they used to say, Harry Kane, they used to joke about the fact that he didn't score until December.
Never a goal in August.
You know, you know what I mean? It just happened, didn't it? But at the end of the day, I think Hoyland will come good. I think we've got a good team, and Ten Hag's building something good, and we've just got to keep believing in it. Mark, thank you for joining us behind the scenes. Jarvis, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody in the VAR room for all your comments, all your hits, all your likes, all your sharing. It's great to see you all, and we'll leave this lovely lady to end the show for us. Good night, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. If you want to take it to the next level, you can always show your appreciation to sponsor our channel by clicking below the video title, where you will see the heart icon with the text saying, thanks. Or you could buy me a cheeky little coffee by scanning this barcode, or visit this link to buy me a virtual coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. Remember, glory, glory, Man United, Glazers out. It is green and gold until we are announced and sold. That was all from me. I wish you a good day and a great match experience, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us on the socials.